In the last four lectures, we have discussed in detail the idea of degree of freedom and also the equipartition theorem, particularly for a system of ideal gas. So now we will solve some important numerical problems to clarify our idea. Actually, I have selected the problems in multiple choice questions. And the reason behind this is actually two. There are two reasons. First of all, in several examinations, multiple choice questions are asked, and another important reason is that when we will be live, then I hope you will solve this problem along with me. आप इस क्वेश्चन को स्वयं सॉल्व करेंगे, आप कमेंट में उसका आंसर लिखेंगे, मैं उसको देखूंगा और फिर आप स्वयं चेक कर सकते हैं कि आफ्टर सॉल्यूशन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम बाय माई सेल्फ व्हाट रिजल्ट इज ऑब्टेन्ड. तो आप कंपेयर कर सकते हैं अपने रिजल्ट को, इसलिए हमने ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर्म में क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर लिया है. एंड इनफैक्ट ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस आर फ्रॉम हैव बीन आस्क्ड in different standard examinations of India. So now let us start to solve our problems. You can see the first problem I have selected is in a diatomic gas. Mark, this is a diatomic gas system. Molecules are free to translate, rotate and vibrate. Then average kinetic energy per molecule is what? We have given four choices and you have to select one of them. And as I have told you, you must write the answer yourself in the comment box, and then I will solve it, and then you will see your answer is correct or not. And you can see this problem has been asked in a prestigious examination, IIT JAM for Geophysics in 2007. So this question is very easy. If you have an idea which we have developed in the previous lectures, you can easily solve this problem. See here, system is diatomic gas, and this molecule of diatomic gas has three types of degree of freedom in accordance with the problem. That is translational degree of freedom, rotational degree of freedom and vibrational degree of freedom. Then we have to find the total average energy of a molecule. Now let us apply the equipartition theorem to solve this problem. So first of all, see the solution of first problem and you must solve it yourself. You can see as the problem says that system is diatomic and it has three types of degree of freedom, that is translational, rotational and vibrational. So total degree of freedom F will be what? F will be Ft translational degree of freedom plus Fr rotational degree of freedom plus Fv vibrational degree of freedom. You have actually studied in the previous lecture that this molecule has three translational degree of freedom, two rotational degree of freedom and two vibrational degree of freedom. So the total degree of freedom will be equal to 7. F is equal to 7. Now, according to the equipartition theorem, energy associated with each degree of freedom for this molecule is half kT. So, according to law of equipartition of energy of one molecule per degree of freedom. एक डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम के लिए एक मॉलिक्यूल का एनर्जी इक्विपार्टीशन थ्योरम कहता है दिस इज हाफ kT. Now, as the degree of freedom is 7, it means with each degree of freedom, this much energy will be associated. Therefore, total average energy of a molecule will be what? एक डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम से हाफ kT एनर्जी एसोसिएटेड है और टोटल डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम 7 है. सो टोटल एनर्जी ऑफ वन मॉलिक्यूल, if you consider it is E, then E or you can say average value of E, then this will be F into half kT, F into half kT, and F is 7, so this is 7 by 2 kT, 7 by 2 kT. Now see the choices in your problem, the 7 by 2 kT. So you can see option D is correct. So answer will be, therefore answer is option D. D is the correct answer. And definitely you have solved it yourself, as I hope. Now let us see what is our second problem. You can see what the second problem says. See here, the second problem says that consider oxygen gas, this is also diatomic, at room temperature. Remark it, the gas is at room temperature and pressure, and assume that only translational and rotational motions of molecules contribute to the specific heat, or you can say degree of freedom. If Cp and Cv denote respectively the specific heats at constant pressure and constant volume, then what will be the ratio of Cp and Cv? This is a very easy question, and you have already seen this problem in the theoretical part of the lecture. And you can see this question has been asked in another prestigious examination. This is ISC Bangalore 2006. And as the problem says, this is very easy. I hope every one of you will have answer. Gas is oxygen, and oxygen means diatomic gas, diatomic, and it is at room temperature, diatomic gas at RTP, room temperature and pressure. And you know, when the diatomic gas is at room temperature and pressure, then no vibrational motion is effective. Although in this problem this has been said already. इस क्वेश्चन में ये भी कहा गया कि इसमें केवल ट्रांसलेशनल और रोटेशनल डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम ही इफेक्टिव है. ये कहने की भी आवश्यकता नहीं थी, क्योंकि RTP अगर दिया हुआ है, इट मीन्स it is already understood that no vibration will take place. So in this condition, what will be the degree of freedom? You can say F will be simply equal to Ft plus Fr, and you know better, this is 3 plus 2, that is F is equal to 5. F is equal to 5. So what will be the ratio of Cp and Cv? Now you know that Cv is equal to 1 over 2 Fr, and Cp is equal to 1 plus F over 2 times R, and therefore the ratio Cp by Cv, which we have denoted by the symbol gamma, you can see after putting this value, you have already studied it, this is 1 plus 2 by F, you know it. So for solving the objective question, there is no need to write these expressions. You can use this formula directly, and this will be 1 plus 2 over 5, and so this is simply 1.4, and you can see what option is correct. In fact, this is problem number 1.4 is not given, but it is in the form of fraction. So you can see this will be 7 by 5, and 7 by 5 is given in the option D. So again option D is correct. In the previous question option D was correct, and also in this problem option D is correct. So this is actually the option D. So you can see how easily we can solve such type of problems if we have an idea which we have developed in the previous lecture. Now let us see the solution of the third problem. And as I have told you, you must solve this problem along with me yourself and write the answer in comment box. So you can see what is this third problem. The third problem says A and B are both classical ideal gases of diatomic molecules. A and B both are diatomic gases. The point-like atoms in A are bonded rigidly, mark this word, rigidly, to form diatomic molecules, while in B they are connected by bonds of finite stiffness. Again mark this word, finite stiffness. Actually, while dealing with the theoretical aspect, I have mentioned this fact. The ratio of the specific heat per molecule of constant volume of gas A and to gas B will be what? So what this problem says, let us first of all understand it. See, there are actually two gases. First gas is A. First gas is A, and it has two atoms. Let us say this is atom 1 and this is atom 2. And according to the problem, these two atoms are bonded together rigidly. ये rigidly connected है एक दूसरे से. And another diatomic molecule is B. B is the name of another diatomic molecule. It has also two atoms, but the problem says that the atoms of this diatomic molecule B is not rigidly fixed, but it is fixed by finite stiffness. Finite stiffness. When you say finite stiffness, it means it is possible that the distance between these two atoms in molecule B may change. So here this R will change. But in this case, this R will not change. And remember the theoretical part of the lecture. When R will not change, it means no vibration will be effective. So no vibration in A. इसका मतलब मॉलिक्यूल A में वाइब्रेशनल मोशन नहीं होगा और वाइब्रेशनल डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम 0 होगा, नहीं होगा. But since in molecule B the distance between two atoms will change, and so vibration will take place. So this implies vibration. This implies vibration. So you know, therefore, the degree of freedom of molecule A will be what? Let us write the degree of freedom of molecule A equal to Fa, and in this case you can see only translational and rotational motion will be effective because the two atoms are rigidly connected to one another. So Fa will be sum of Ft plus Fr, no Fb, and this will be 3 plus 2, that is 5. And what will be the degree of freedom of molecule B? Let us denote it by the symbol Fb. Since in this case vibrational motion is also effective according to the condition given in the problem, so this Fp will be equal to Ft plus Fr plus Fb. And you know this will be 3 plus 2 plus 2, that is 7. Now you have to find the ratio of CV of molecule A and molecule B. So if we denote the CV of molecule A by this symbol CV of A and CV of molecule B by this symbol CV of B, then what will be this? It has been asked in our problem. Now you know how CV is determined in terms of degree of freedom. As you have studied in the previous lecture, that CV is given as 1 over 2 FR. CV is given as 1 over 2 FR. And therefore, what will be CV of A? You can say, since molecule A has 5 degree of freedom, so this will be 1 over 2 5R. And what will be the CV of molecule B? Since it has 7 degree of freedom, so this will be 1 over 2 7R. And therefore you can easily find the ratio of CV of A and CV of B. You can see this will be 5 by 2R over 7 by 2R. And so you can see this will be simply equal to 5 by 7. So now let us see which option is correct. Ratio will be 5 by 7, and this 5 by 7 is given in this option B. So in this case, option B is correct. So this implies that option B is correct. So this is the solution of third problem, and you can see this problem was something to think about, but when you will go through the previous lecture, you will get all the concept which is used in solution of such type of problems. Now see the last problem. The last problem says that the mean energy of one-dimensional harmonic oscillator is what? One-dimensional harmonic oscillator का mean energy क्या होगा, इस ऑप्शन में से सेलेक्ट करना है. Now let us see the solution of this problem. Actually this is a very important problem. You can see here. In fact, whenever in classical physics we say one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, definitely in your mind a picture comes. And what is that picture? That is a spring mass system. In fact, a spring mass system is just an example of one-dimensional harmonic oscillator. So let us see, there is a light spring connected to a mass m, and if this mass m is slightly displaced from its equilibrium position, then it vibrates or oscillates about its equilibrium position, and such a system is called linear harmonic oscillator. In fact, in this condition, the total energy of one-dimensional harmonic oscillator will be actually the sum of two energy. In fact, this mass has kinetic energy and this spring has potential energy. So the mass spring system has energy in two forms, and one is potential energy, or you can say elastic potential energy, and another is kinetic energy. So the total energy of one-dimensional, when you say one-dimensional, it means this is performing its oscillation along a straight line, let us say on x-axis. This mass will oscillate on this x-axis. So it is called one-dimensional linear harmonic oscillator. And the total energy of one-dimensional linear harmonic oscillator harmonic oscillator. If we denote it by the symbol E, what will be this? This will be kinetic energy of the mass m and potential energy of the spring. Potential energy of the spring. And so classically, you know, kinetic energy is given by the expression p square over 2m. P is linear momentum. So this is p square over 2m. And what is potential energy? To get the potential energy of this system, you must remember the formula for elastic potential energy of a stressed spring. And you know that is given by half cx square. Actually, normally we write half kx square, but here this k is called force constant. But I am not using this symbol here because we will have to use k for Boltzmann constant. So you don't confuse with this k with Boltzmann constant. For that, I am changing the symbol of stiffness of the spring or force constant from k to c. So remember, this c is equal to force constant. This is force constant. Now this problem can be easily solved by a simple technique. While dealing with the proof of equipartition theorem, you have seen that our particle has only one energy, that was kinetic energy, and that energy was equal to this much, p square over 2m. But in this case, apart from this term, an extra term is also present. But see, both of these terms are quadratic. It is quadratic in p and it is quadratic in x, क्योंकि यहाँ p square है, यहाँ x square है. And you have seen in the proof of equipartition theorem that with each quadratic term, the energy associated is equal to half kT per degree of freedom. तो यहाँ जो फर्स्ट टर्म है इससे भी हाफ kT एनर्जी एसोसिएटेड होगा और सेकेंड टर्म से भी हाफ kT एनर्जी एसोसिएटेड होगा. सो आप एक शॉर्टकट तरीके से इसका आंसर बड़ी इजीली बोल सकते हैं कि इस रूप में कि since in this case there are two quadratic terms, each of them would contribute half kT to the average energy. दिस इज एक्चुअली ये बात आपने इक्विपार्टीशन थ्योरम में पढ़ा था कि अगर एक क्वाड्रेटिक टर्म है तो उससे एसोसिएटेड एनर्जी हाफ kT होगा. अगर फिर दूसरा क्वाड्रेटिक टर्म है तो इससे भी एसोसिएटेड एनर्जी हाफ kT होगा. सो इन दिस वे यू कैन से व्हाट विल बी देन द एवरेज एनर्जी of this harmonic oscillator. So corresponding to first quadratic term, energy will be half kT. Corresponding to second quadratic term, again the mean energy is half kT, and so the total mean energy of this linear harmonic oscillator will be equal to kT. So you can see which option is correct in this case. See your question. You can see the option number A. A is correct. So A is the correct answer in this case. A is the correct answer. This implies option A is correct. But for a rigorous calculation, if you want to do the rigorous calculation to get this result, you can do it. For this, you have to again see the method which I have followed in the proof of equipartition theorem. So you can say Altier in an alternative method how we can calculate this value. बट ये जो टेक्निक बताया दिस इज मोस्ट ईजी, आप आसानी से ऐसे क्वेश्चन का आंसर लिख सकते हैं. एनर्जी का एक्सप्रेशन लिखिए, जितना क्वाड्रेटिक टर्म होगा प्रत्येक के साथ हाफ के टी एनर्जी होगा उसको ऐड कर दीजिए. मान लीजिए अगर 3 टर्म आता, तीनों क्वाड्रेटिक होता तो 3 बार हाफ के टी को जोड़ते, 3/2 के टी आंसर हो जाता है ना. तो इस तरह से आप इसको कर सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर कोई चाहे कि नहीं हम इसको कैलकुलेट करके देखें तो आप वैसा भी कर सकते हैं. जैसा कि आपको याद होगा कि अगर हम मीन एनर्जी, आप इसके लिए जो लेक्चर आपने पढ़ा है इक्विपार्टीशन थ्योरम का प्रूफ उसको देखिए. अगर मीन एनर्जी हम लोग फाइंड आउट करना चाहेंगे तो हाउ वी कैन डू. इनफैक्ट फॉर दिस टर्म दैट इज द काइनेटिक एनर्जी टर्म वी विल राइट द मीन वैल्यू for this integral from minus infinity to plus infinity p square over 2m e raised to the power minus p square over 2m kt dp and over integral minus infinity to plus infinity e to the power minus ps square over 2m kt dp. आप इस एक्सप्रेशन के लिए पहले हमने कहा कि आप पीछे वाला वीडियो जो इक्विपार्टीशन थ्योरम का प्रूफ जस्ट पिछले क्लास में पढ़ा, आप उसको देखिए. ये टर्म मिलेगा कि हम एवरेज एनर्जी जब निकालते हैं तो वहाँ एक ही टर्म था और ये एक्सप्रेशन आया होगा. बट हियर देयर इज another term. So for the another term we will write integral from minus infinity to plus infinity half cx square times e to the power minus cx square over 2 kt dx and over integral from minus infinity to plus infinity e raised to the power minus cx square over 2 kt dx. But now I am not solving this integral. The solution of this integral is already we have seen in the previous lecture. So go through the previous lecture on proof of equipartition theorem. You will find the solution of this integral. So I am here directly writing those results. So this will be simply half kt and half kt. लेकिन आपको हम सजेस्ट करते हैं कि आप पीछे वाले लेक्चर को देखिए, वहाँ इस इंटीग्रल का वैल्यू निकाला हुआ है. एंड दिस विल बी इक्वल टू kt. So you can see by this method we also get the average energy or mean energy of a one-dimensional linear harmonic oscillator is kt. But here is a very remarkable fact regarding this problem. What is that fact? When actually we will study the specific heat capacity of solids, particularly the classical theory which is called Dulong-Petit's law, then you will see that in case of solid, the average energy per molecule of a solid is equal to half kt, sorry, kt, not half kt. Average energy per molecule per degree of freedom of a solid. Remember, of a solid, not of a gaseous system. is kT, not half kT. एक सॉलिड के एक मॉलिक्यूल का 1 डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम के लिए एवरेज एनर्जी क्लासिकल फिजिक्स के हिसाब से kT होता है, नॉट हाफ kT. Why? Because the molecule of a solid just behaves like a linear harmonic oscillator. Actually, this fact we will see while studying the classical theory of specific heat capacity of solids, which is also called Dulong-Petit's law. This is called Dulong-Petit's law. So, because why this is kT not half kT? Because molecule of a solid acts like a one-dimensional linear harmonic oscillator. Linear harmonic oscillator. So I hope you have understand the solution of these problems definitely. And now today our concept on equipartition theorem is completed. Now in the second live class we will discuss the concept of another topic, that is of quantum mechanics. In that lecture we will see the concept of symmetric square wave potential. So I hope you will join that class on tomorrow to discuss the symmetric square wave potential in quantum mechanics.